Two pugs, Coco, Polo, and Rango. For sits. Let us sits. Jerry. Sits. Lucy sits, sits. Yeah, this doesn't happen. This way, this way. This way. Wait. Okay, go. Seven dogs is too many, especially when they're all crazy. But actually, day 3 of the Anarchapulco conference, and so many people have been mentioning the dog walk videos, and that's not exactly why I'm doing this, but maybe I put it into my head a little bit. And I thought, and I'm hearing so many things, and so many people talking about so many different things about the conference, and it's great, and it's actually been going really well. And Ron Paul is there. It's like 1,600 people apparently. Everyone seems really happy, so that's great. But just thinking this morning that I'm going through so many changes, and I thought I'd do a video. Oh, there's a person. Let her know. Let her in. Yeah, Pugs. Pugs, Ben. Perdón, está locos. Lucy, let her ya. Ben. I've got we have so much security here for the event, and apparently they gave me some, so I guess they're walking with me. Actually, they can help with the dogs and what they do. That's good. There you go. What do you need police for? Lara. So, yeah, I was thinking, because I'm going through so many changes, and so this is I'm not drinking at this conference, and Pugs, Ben, Jerry, Lucy, Jetty, Ben. The Pugs are the craziest ones now. Pugs, Ben, Coco. Oh God. Anyway, going through all these changes, and one of the things that I realized this morning is I've actually been a little depressed the last couple of days, but I haven't been drinking or anything. I've been doing a lot of my stuff still. So it kind of made me realize that in the past I was hiding a lot of dealing with how I was feeling with alcohol. And so, I'd be at these things, but I didn't really think about how I was really feeling. I did feel uncomfortable. I'm not super comfortable being around all these people all the time, all day. Not comfortable at all with that. Actually, there's an article by Being Libertarian that just came out today on day 1 of Anarchapulco. And in it, he called me Jeff Berwick appears to be a recluse who's known to be watching the conference on live stream from his mansion in the hills, is what he said. And I laughed at it first because it sounded crazy, like I'm Howard Hughes or something. But then I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, that's actually what I'm doing. So am I a recluse? Is that what I am? I don't know. I've actually been loving the live stream of the conference, because I can't sit in that conference room all day. I'll get into what being around so many people does to me, but so I actually miss most of the speeches every year because I just can't sit there. And it's actually been so nice. I can go home. It's only 10 minutes from the conference here, and watch almost all the speeches. I've been watching them that have been amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's so many amazing things going on here. I won't get into that. That's about the conference and stuff, but it really is amazing stuff going on here. And so yeah, in the past, I wouldn't think about how I was feeling. It's sort of like a zombie or a robot, which is kind of funny because in many ways, both myself and a lot of people consider me to be like this, you know, well, he's really out there, like like he's outside the box, like he's not like a robot or a zombie or something. Like he's thinking about stuff, you know, which is quite rare nowadays. But in many ways, up until the last year or two, and I just started realizing this, I have so many realizations. I don't know when the last time I did one of these was. I could actually do one almost every day on some sort of realization I'm having. All kinds of just moments where you realize like what you've been doing, what's, you know, just certain things. So my point is in the past I go to these conferences and I wasn't paying attention to what I was feeling, but I knew I felt uncomfortable. I was like, you know, I'd always head straight to the bar. And then from there, I'd drink myself through the conference basically. And in the past, like I was so uncomfortable socially. Not like I was like a introverted nerd or something, but like I just, without the alcohol, I just don't want to be around people and talk to people. But I've actually gotten over that quite a bit in the last while. So here at this conference, I have been there. I'm not a total recluse. I've been there quite a bit, every day, and all sorts of events, all sorts of parties. And I have no problem at all. Actually, I haven't even thought about it. Like, if I do think about alcohol, it's like, man, I never want to do that again because, well, I probably will, like, to be honest, but like, I don't want to because this is so much better. But this is the point of this video. It's so much better, but it's so hard because I have to actually think about how I'm feeling and then deal with those issues and feelings as they arise, as opposed to in the past where I wouldn't think about how I was feeling and I would just know I didn't feel comfortable or whatever the word was, and I'd just start drinking, and from there you're not thinking about it anymore. You're just, you know, and a lot of people would say, oh, you were so outgoing at the party, you had a great time with you, and I was, yeah, but it was just like numbing me from having to deal with my issues. Rango, man. I got like 2 security guards walking with me. It's not, I didn't even know they're coming. I said to get a bunch of security because, you know, cryptocurrency's gone up a lot. We got like some big cryptocurrency people at the conference. We had Ron Paul there. This place is not dangerous at all, like zero. Everything you've heard. It's so funny hearing a lot of the people at the conference who are so worried to come, and yeah, I hear it every year. It's like super fine here, but you know, you got 2,000 people, 1,500 people, big name people, Ron Paul, big crypto people with a lot of money. Let's get a few security guards, you know, just make sure that if something happens, that at least we've tried to do something. And that's what anarcho-capitalism is all about anyway, right? Protect yourself. So, but anyway, they're actually quite cheap, so for the private security. So I told my wife to get like 5 in the day, 5 in the night to be at the conference. I think she got 10 in the day, 10 at night or something. And they're just everywhere, and they're like in my house. There's like a couple in my house right now. It's not normal, but forgot what I was saying exactly, but about the having to deal with change in yourself. This is another thing that I was thinking about, is I actually like change. Like if everything just stayed the same, sort of like communism, it just doesn't work with me. Like I like the fact that life changes. I like it's interesting, right? Not that I get bored, but I have no problem with change. Like a lot of things that people like really freak out about. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if, oh my God, what if Donald Trump wins? Or what if Hillary Clinton wins? And they actually worry because this is a change in their life. To me, a lot of these changes, I'm like, good, yeah, awesome. Let's see what happens now. Let's see how this affects things. Let's see what the opportunities are with this change. And it's just interesting, right? Like for many years, I just lived in a different city almost every day for like 5 years. Not every day, but like every couple of days I'd be in a different city, a different country. And I liked that for a while. But the entire time I was drinking a lot and I wasn't dealing, yeah, that was my point. So I have no problem with external change. And in fact, I kind of like external change quite a bit. Like I don't It's not like I want my house to burn down tomorrow, but if it did, I'd be like, okay, this is kind of like a new opportunity. Now we can build a new house. You know, like I don't see a lot of the change that a lot of people get really worried about as being negative. And I don't worry about a lot of it. In fact, I don't worry about anything like that externally. But here's my point of this video is what I've realized is changing myself, or changing internally, you could say, that's really hard. Like, it's a lot of work. And I was thinking about that today and all the work I've been doing for the last year or two. And it's just hard. Like, even this, I was at the conference, surrounded by like 1,000 people, almost everyone. I, really appreciate everyone, what they do, but they come up, they want to take my picture, they want to talk to me. Like 90% of them will say how I changed their life or how they love me and all this sort of stuff. And I do appreciate, and that's one thing I've learned, is to accept appreciation to some extent. But it still doesn't like I think some people would think if you had that you must be so happy. Like, look, all these people who just love you. And I'm like, a lot of them seriously, I think, love me. Like it's real sort of stuff, but it doesn't really make me all that happy. So I'm around all this, and people coming up all the time, tell me all this, and I was thinking about it like last night and this morning a little bit. I was like, it's so weird. Like, I don't know if I've ever felt so alone. Which, this is what's so interesting about going through change and trying to work on these things and paying attention, being like not drunk so I can actually pay attention to what's going on and thinking about it, is kind of lost my train of thought there. I think I was trying to say, oh yes, I got it back. So you don't know how you're going to react to situations till they happen. And this is another thing too, like so many people worry about this event that's going to happen or might happen. For example, when I bought a sailboat, a lot of people said, you're going to sink it. What are you going to do when that happens? It's going to be horrible. I was like, well, we'll see what happens. Again, that was external, right? And it turned out, with the sinking of the sailboat, that was one of the times I felt better than any time in my life. I was full of a lot of adrenaline, probably. I lost everything, which made me realize I don't need anything, and actually I feel better when I don't have anything. A lot of my minimalist sort of stuff. So that's one example of something that a lot of people would worry their whole life about if they have a boat. Oh my gosh, if it sinks, oh, it's going to be horrible. Well, you don't know until it happens. And in fact, what usually happens, I found, this is just experience, is all the things you worry about when they happen, it's almost like the exact opposite of what you think you're going to feel at that moment. So like I said, with the boat sinking, a lot of people still to this day, they say, that must have been so scary, all this. No, it was actually one of the best nights of my life. I really felt alive. And not just because I thought I was going to die. I didn't know if I was going to die or not. I didn't think we were going to die, but it came close a few times. But I think the adrenaline, just being in that moment, And I think that's something that I need to find a way to get more back into, that sort of feeling. And that's, I don't want to have to sink my boat every time to feel good. But so here, my point is with this, that a lot of people would assume you've got a conference, it's a huge success. It really is. There's been a lot of disasters, but like no one sees a lot of those. I've had to deal with a lot of those. But from the perspective of everyone at the conference, I'm just guessing, but like 99% think it's the best ever. Great, awesome. So you'd think I'd be really happy about that. Really, almost shockingly and surprisingly, how many people really care about me, like think I'm a I'm a person in their life. Like like I've heard it so many times. They say I've changed their life. And it sounds like mostly for the better, hopefully not too many for the worse. And so you would think, so, if you're talking to someone, maybe myself years ago, imagine you have this conference, it's huge, and the whole world comes here, and they're all really appreciative and really care, and they actually love you to some extent, and you're gonna, imagine how happy you would be. So I was like, I'm in this conference, going great, aside from numerous technical difficulties. Surrounded by all these people. I get so many gifts. I'm like, again, thank you to everyone. To me, it's just so weird. Oh, what's going on? Looks like we lost the Osmo. Maybe it's back. There we go. That's my pugs. Here's my pugs. Yeah. Oh, it's off again. One more time. So yeah, you'd think, well, here's the thing. So yeah, I'm surrounded by this thing's dying. Might be a battery issue. I might have to just handhold this at some point here. Or I'll be sideways, that's fine. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, this is not working. All right, it's a good thing I got help here. Hang on one sec. Puedes tomar este? Gracias. That's fine. All right, handheld. Go old school. So you would think I should be really happy, right? And I was thinking about it last night and this morning. It's like, I don't know if I've ever felt more alone. Right? So this is my point, is like, you never know how you're going to react to these situations until they happen. And in the old days, I'd just be so drunk, I wouldn't fully realize how I was feeling. I'd just be drinking and not thinking about this. But I think it all actually still is like stored there in your brain and in your body. And I think thinking about it, a lot of the sort of like hangover related issues is probably also a lot of the stuff that I'm feeling that I'm not dealing with, possibly even repressing, that just sort of stays in my body for days after these sort of things. So anyway, now that I'm not drinking, and gotta say, it's so much better, but it's hard. And this is basically the point of the video again, is how hard it is to actually have to look at yourself and think about how you're feeling and deal with those feelings and make changes to, deal with those feelings. So there must be a reason I feel that way, right? Now I have to think about that. Why do I feel so alone when I'm surrounded by so many people like this? I've been doing, I haven't done these videos in months. I've been doing so many types of therapy. One of the big ones that's really helped me is a hypnotherapist. It costs $1,000 an hour, but it's worth it for me. And yeah, he's had so many breakthroughs. And he says I'm getting there. He says I still got lots to do. He wants to do like a full week with me, like every hour every day for a week. And he says that should get a lot of these issues dealt with. And I've realized a lot of them stem from my childhood. Looking back at it's so funny because when I look at my childhood, I met Stefan Molyneux like 5 years ago. And he knew me, I knew him just from the internet. And we were both like anarchists at the time. So, some of the few anarchists that were out there at the time. Look how much that's grown. It's amazing. And now Stefan Molyneux's not an anarchist. Look at how interesting it is how things change. But I met him back when he said he was an anarchist. And back then he was doing a lot of his like family consulting type stuff. And pretty much all of his shows would end or start with him telling the person how bad their childhood was and telling them to leave their family and stuff. What they call, there's a word for it. It's not FAP. something where you leave your family, whatever. And so I'd seen all these videos, and I thought they were quite good, actually. I like a lot of them. I found it very interesting. And so I met him, and we're anarchists. And it was at a Doug Casey conference, and either him or I said, let's go for dinner. I was like, cool, let's go. Sit down. First thing he says is, so tell me about your childhood. And first I laughed. I'm like, are we like on one of your shows right now? Or like, he's like, no, but this is what I'm really interested in, is this sort of thing. I'm like, okay. And I remember what I said. I said, my childhood was fine. That's all I said. I was like, yeah, perfectly fine. I wasn't raped or beaten too bad. I was beaten a little bit, but not like no broken bones. I don't think I was raped. This is actually coming up in hypnotherapy. But I'm not saying I was, but there's something that my unconscious won't tell my conscious mind that we have to figure out. I don't know what it is. I'm just guessing. But it might be something small, or it might be something big. I don't know. But my hypnotherapist said, if my unconscious let my conscious mind know it right now, and I'm not ready to deal with what it is, then I'll actually go insane. He said I'll be like one of those people walking around the street saying like the CIA is out to get us, which is kind of what I do now. But I guess, like the point is, like, it'll actually cause like this, like, I'll just go nuts. I'll just be gone for a while anyway. So I sit down with him and I said, yeah, fine. And he asked me a few more questions. He's like, well, tell me a little bit more. Like, what do you mean fine? And as we're talking, I'm telling him some stuff. And by the end of it, he has me pretty much convinced that my childhood was horrible. And you have to remember, like 20 minutes earlier, I thought it was totally fine. Like, it's amazing how you can rethink, because I never thought about it too much. Like, my whole life, I was just like, it was fine. Because, you hear about all these people have horrible, horrible experiences. Molested, raped, beaten like horribly, all this kind of stuff. So I was like, no, luckily I'm fine. It was totally fine. I didn't have anything like that at all. It was, very, very normal childhood. I said, man, no, it wasn't really. And this is like a lot of the hypnotherapist type stuff. So yeah, this is, making these changes, thinking about these feelings, then trying to figure out where that's coming from, that I'm feeling that way. That's really hard. This is sort of like the same with anarchy. When I first started out, I was like, yeah, screw the government. I'm going to do whatever it takes to destroy them. And I thought of it more like as a physical fight. I was like, yeah, if we have to, we'll go in there and just do whatever we got to do, And that's so much easier than the other way, which, with anarchy, and what I've realized now is we have to change ourselves in order to change the world. And changing yourself, for me, has been like one of the hardest things I've ever done. But I still think it's very worth it. But man, it's been hard. Every day. Just, I don't know why it's so hard. So that's another sort of realization that you have when you do these things, is like, oh, I thought I really was open to change. That was easy to change. No, I was open to the world changing. I was not open to me really changing and really dealing with my emotions, my feelings, my mind, my body even. Oh man, there's so much I could talk about. Just realize that I'm talking because I've learned so much in the last 6 months. But I'm gonna leave it at that. I talk a lot. Even at this conference, it's really turned into like a be the change you want to see in the world conference. It really has. And my point of this video is, yeah, making those changes is how we're going to change everything. But it's not easy at all. It's in fact possibly one of the hardest things I've ever done. But even with the progress I've had so far, and I'm going to just guesstimate, I'm like 10 to 20% along the way of dealing with all the stuff I have to deal with. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less, but I still got a long ways to go. But even so far, it's been so hard. And, but it's worth it. I wouldn't give it, like, I thought about the other night. I was like, we're at dinner with Ron Paul, and there's wine and beer and stuff. And I thought for a second, should I regress to where I was before and just start drinking, and then I'll feel better? Because I would, for a period of time, I'll feel happier. Because whatever these issues are, they'll kind of be gone for a couple hours. I think that's a big part of it. But then the next day, I'm feeling even worse than I feel now without drinking. So in the end, It's definitely worth it. So for people out there who want to work on themselves but think it's really difficult, you are correct. It is very difficult, but I wouldn't go back for anything, really. The thought of even going back, it's not even an option, because I know how I can. You can get the sense of achieving things, and I can feel myself feeling better. I'm better than the last few years. And there's some days where I'll tell you I feel amazing. So I have those days now, and that's a huge change. But it is really hard. But I would not change. I would never go back. In fact, I'm plowing forward and kind of have a hope. I have a dream. I have a hope. One day, I'll just be kind of okay. I'll be, kind of happy. I think I'll get there, but it's hard. But do it anyway. Muy bien, pugs. That's a letter. Yeah, it's hot out there, isn't it? Yeah. Muy bien, pugs. Yeah. Muy bien, Polo.